This woman's face sold America's most trusted family detergent. 99 and 44/100% pure, the ads promised. 3 years later, she became the star of the most controversial film in American history. This is the story Hollywood tried to bury. Marilyn Chambers refused to be defined by Hollywood's rules or its shame. She was a trailblazer who built her own empire when the industry turned its back on her. Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes of 1970s Hollywood, where ambition and controversy collided in ways that still echo through cinema. You'll discover how a small-town girl became America's most recognizable face, witness the scandal that shocked the nation, and understand how she turned shame into triumph. This isn't just history, it's the story of a woman who refused to disappear. Marilyn Ann Briggs was born in 1952 in Providence, Rhode Island. Her family moved to Westport, Connecticut when she was young. Her father worked in advertising. Her mother raised 3 children in a modest New England home. But Marilyn had something different, an intensity, a hunger to be more than what her suburban life offered. By 17, she was modeling. Not glamour shoots, catalog work, department store ads, the kind of clean-cut, girl-next-door beauty that sold wholesomeness to middle America. Then came the call that changed everything. Procter & Gamble was looking for a fresh face to represent their most iconic product, Ivory Snow detergent, 99 and 44/100% pure. Marilyn became that face. She appeared in print ads holding babies, smiling in kitchens, embodying American motherhood and innocence. Millions of families saw her image every single week in magazines and on product packaging. But here's what most people don't know. While Marilyn was shooting those Ivory Snow ads, she was also pursuing a serious acting career. She moved to New York City, took acting classes, auditioned relentlessly. She appeared in an off-Broadway production of The Owl and the Pussycat. She wanted to be a legitimate actress, not just a model. But New York in 1971 was expensive. Acting paid almost nothing. She needed money to survive. When her agent mentioned a film role, an art film, he called it something experimental. She didn't ask too many questions. The film was called Behind the Green Door. The directors, the Mitchell brothers, were trying to make something different in the adult film world, something cinematic, something that pushed artistic boundaries. Marilyn read the script. It was explicit, yes, but it promised creative control, artistic collaboration, a chance to do something that had never been done before. She thought about it carefully. Then she said yes. And with that one decision, everything in her life was about to change forever. Behind the Green Door premiered in December 1972. Within weeks, Marilyn Chambers became the most talked about woman in America, and not in the way she expected. The film made $50 million at the box office. It wasn't just a hit, it became a cultural phenomenon. Couples went to see it together. Major newspaper critics reviewed it. Johnny Carson made jokes about it on The Tonight Show. The mainstream press called it porno chic, part of a new wave of adult films trying to achieve artistic legitimacy. Then, someone made the connection. The woman starring in America's most explicit film was the same woman on the Ivory Snow box, 99 and 44/100% pure. The irony was too perfect, too scandalous to ignore. The story exploded across every news outlet in the country. Procter & Gamble immediately pulled every box of Ivory Snow from store shelves. Those boxes became instant collector's items, eventually worth hundreds of dollars. The company issued public statements distancing themselves from Marilyn. Advertising executives who had hired her faced questioning from corporate leadership. But here's the twisted part of this whole scandal. The same American public that made Behind the Green Door a massive box office success was now publicly shaming the woman who made it possible. The hypocrisy was staggering. Marilyn went on talk shows to defend herself. She told Phil Donahue, "I'm not ashamed of what I did. I made my own choices. Why should I apologize for my body or my work?" She became a flashpoint in the culture wars of the 1970s. Feminists were deeply divided over her. Some saw her as liberated, taking full control of her own sexuality on her own terms. Others saw her as exploited, just another woman perpetuating male fantasies on screen. And Hollywood completely shut her out. No studio would touch her. The legitimate acting career she had dreamed about since childhood, gone in an instant. Directors who had promised her roles suddenly vanished. Agents stopped returning her phone calls. She was blacklisted without anyone ever saying the word out loud. In a private letter she wrote years later, Marilyn said, "I thought doing something artistic, something boundary-pushing, would open doors for me. Instead, it closed every single one of them. But I refused to live my life in shame." She faced an impossible choice: disappear quietly into obscurity, or fight back against an industry that wanted to erase her. 1973, Marilyn Chambers stood at a crossroads. She could walk away from adult films completely, try to rebrand herself, and spend years trying to salvage some kind of mainstream career. Or she could do something nobody expected. She could embrace exactly what Hollywood rejected, not hide from it, not apologize for it, but completely transform it from the inside. The Mitchell brothers wanted to make a sequel called The Resurrection of Eve, but this time they offered Marilyn something unprecedented. Not just a starring role, creative input, a producer credit, and a share of the profits. No adult film star in history had ever been given this kind of power or control. This wasn't exploitation. This was genuine collaboration. Marilyn could shape the film's narrative, its aesthetic choices, its entire message. She said yes. But then she went even further. She told the Mitchell brothers directly, "If we're going to do this, we're doing it right. Better cinematography, better scripts, better production values. I want to make films that women actually want to watch, not just men." Watch the difference in The Resurrection of Eve carefully. Scenes are shot from Marilyn's perspective. The camera focuses on her experience, her pleasure, her point of view. That was absolutely revolutionary in 1973. Adult films were made exclusively for male audiences. Marilyn fundamentally changed that approach. The Resurrection of Eve made even more money than Behind the Green Door. Film critics called it the first adult film with an authentic female gaze. Marilyn became the most bankable star in the entire adult film industry, male or female. She appeared on the cover of Esquire magazine. She was interviewed by major national publications. She spoke at universities about censorship, artistic freedom, and women's agency. She negotiated unprecedented contracts that allowed her to retain full rights to her own image. By 1975, Marilyn Chambers was earning over $500,000 per year. That's more than most A-list Hollywood actresses were making at the time. In a 1976 interview, she said something powerful. "They wanted me to be ashamed. They wanted me to hide and disappear. But I'm not ashamed of my body. I'm not ashamed of my choices. And I'm certainly not ashamed of my success." Marilyn didn't just survive the scandal that was supposed to destroy her, she conquered it completely. She proved that you could build your own empire outside of Hollywood's approval, but mainstream Hollywood never opened its doors to Marilyn, no matter what she achieved. In the 1980s, she tried to cross over into legitimate film. She appeared in David Cronenberg's horror film Rabid. She did television guest appearances. She performed in mainstream theater productions. Watch her performance in Rabid closely. She's genuinely talented. Cronenberg publicly praised her professionalism on set, but film critics couldn't separate her from her past. Every single review mentioned Behind the Green Door, even when it had nothing to do with the film being reviewed. The years weren't always kind to Marilyn. She struggled with Hollywood's brutal ageism. Work became increasingly scarce as she got older. The money that had flowed so freely in the 70s began to slow down significantly. By the 2000s, Marilyn was making personal appearances at conventions, signing autographs for fans who remembered her peak years. But she never expressed regret about her choices. In a 2007 interview, just 2 years before her death, she said, "I lived my entire life on my own terms." How many people can honestly say that? "I'm proud of every door I kicked down." Marilyn Chambers died on April 12, 2009. She was 56 years old. The cause was a heart aneurysm. She was alone in her trailer home in Los Angeles. The adult film industry mourned her as a true pioneer. Ron Jeremy called her the woman who made adult entertainment respectable. Feminist scholars wrote academic essays analyzing her cultural impact and her role in changing conversations about female sexuality. But her real legacy? It's everywhere you look today. Every time an actress negotiates for creative control over her projects, every time a woman refuses to be publicly shamed for her sexuality, every time an artist chooses financial independence over industry approval, that's Marilyn Chambers' legacy living on. She proved something that Hollywood didn't want to admit. You don't need the industry's permission to matter. You don't need their approval to build something meaningful. Marilyn Chambers defined success entirely on her own terms, and she never apologized for being exactly who she was. Marilyn's story reminds us why we tell these forgotten histories. They're not just about the past, they're about courage, defiance, and refusing to let others define your worth. If you love these untold cinema stories, I make new videos every week exploring the icons and films Hollywood tried to erase. Click subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And check out my video on Georgina Spelvin, another actress who fought similar battles and won on her own terms. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next story.